we're all in the same boat together. With that being said, I not because we're in this field, but I can't emphasize it enough that you need to make sure you have the right accountants, the right people in your field to help guide you along the way. Because if you think you're going to, cut a little corner here and there, it could come back and bite you in the rear. Maybe whoever you switch to is offering to do their taxes for you really cheap, but that BOI is not included in there.
Yeah.
And now you get hit with this $10,000 fine. Sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for. So, for our firm, what we do is we want to be all inclusive. We just want to take care of everything for the client.
Yep.
So they don't have to worry about anything. Okay. And I think that's one of the things that set us apart from a lot of other accounting firms is we're a trusted advisor. We're an advisory firm first. Okay. So we want to advise clients in the right direction. And then the compliance stuff just comes afterwards. Okay. But you should have someone that's advising you and overseeing things and actually cares.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I talk to potential new clients as they come in the door is make sure you're asking the right questions, make sure. And the problem is a lot of people, they don't know what they're required to file.
Yep.
That comes in all the time of sometimes they don't even know what their entity is. They know they have an LLC, but they don't know if it's an S Corp or a C Corp or a sole prop. They don't know any of that stuff.
Yep.
But you need to be making sure that whoever you're using is answering the right questions for you, right? What is included with their services? Because if they miss something, even if it's a basic, in the state of Texas, we have franchise tax reports.
Yeah.
If that doesn't get filed, you can lose your LLC.
Guys, and here's the difference between a trusted advisor and someone who's just doing compliance work. Who's ever representing you should be trying to educate you. Okay. And that's one of the things that we work really close with a lot of our clients is where there's an educational piece. We try to educate you all as much as possible because if we can do that, believe it or not, it makes our job easier.
Well,
right?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's so easy to streamline the things that we do with clients when they're as educated about the process as we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Because then there's no surprises. And I tell clients this all the time. At the end of the year, when we file your tax return, there should be no surprises on that tax return. You should already know what it's going to look like.
Right. And one of the things that I, tell all of our staff and all of our meetings, and this, is that tax return, it tells a story, it tells a financial story, right? If it's a business, it tells you where your income items are, what your expenses are. Your balance sheet is going to show you what type of assets that you hold, what type of liabilities, whether it be short-term, long-term liabilities, what your equity stake is, any contributions that you made or any distributions. And so you should ask yourself when you look at that tax return, if you can't, then whoever's preparing it should be able to explain this to you in great lengths. Is that tax return a proper representation of what happened in your business in that respective year?
Yeah.
Because it should tell the story.
Absolutely.
Right? So if all of a sudden it shows $700,000 in net income and you're going, whoa, wait, I think I only made $100,000. You have a disconnect there. Something's been booked incorrectly and needs to be reclassed. So you need to dive deeper into that and figure out what's going on. And so that's where we're a little bit different than most firms. We try to uncover and see what the client is actually doing so we can give them the proper guidance.
Yeah.
So enough about that. Sorry. Now, this is a very, very hot topic right now, Rick.
It is.
The Venmo and Cash App payments that the government was cracking down on, basically alluding to that $600 payments in any one of these merchant accounts was going to be represented via 1099K. They've pushed it out a little bit now.
Well, not only that, if you're a user of some of these apps, a lot of these apps have added to their software certain questions about what's this transaction for.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're required to report that because they want to know if you're trying to run a business through these apps, right? And so they know whether or not they need to 1099 you or not. Versus what most people use these things for is basically buying and selling goods, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to buy a pair of shoes from my neighbor, and I'm gonna
or for services.
Yeah, I'm gonna Cash App them $50 for the sneakers that I'm buying from, right? Well, that's not a business, right? But if it looks like you're doing the same thing on a regular basis, these things are going to get flagged, and suddenly whether you wanted to or not, it creates a business for you. The great thing is with this change now, the limit's going from $600, which is what the old 1099 reporting things were, to $5,000, right? So you might still be able to be under the threshold and avoid some reporting.
But that's just for 24.
But that's just for 24.
Yes. It's going to drop right back down
Correct.
to 600. So what they're essentially doing, folks, is they are easing it in, right? They listened to everybody. There was a lot of backlash, but ultimately that's their agenda, is to make sure that they're capturing all income.
Yep.